And if you have something you want to say where you specifically want to like address the folks at home, you can look at either that camera or at that camera.
Say no to drugs.
Right.
Kids.
Perfect.
The following program is a production of Hōʻike, Kauai Community Media. Island Alert was made possible in part by the Kauai Island Utility Cooperative.
Aloha and welcome to Island Alert, the show where we talk to Kauai's first responders. I'm Max Richardson, and joining me today is Kauai Police Department's School Resource Officer from Kapa'a High, Jonathan Anderson. Thanks for coming on the show, Officer Anderson.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the interview, make sure to subscribe to Hōʻike on YouTube or your podcast app of choice for even more great content. Stay connected, stay inspired, and keep up with the stories that shape Kauai. All right, so how are you doing today? How was your, did you have a good drive in?
Great, yeah. I was able to stop at an awesome coffee shop. Got my likoi ginger lemonade.
Nice, yeah, I've been looking at that all morning. It looks really yummy. So let's get started with just some basic getting to know you stuff. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Take me through the journey from being, an ordinary kid to a police officer to specifically a school resource officer now. What's that like?
Well, I was born and raised here on Kauai, from the east side area. I went to school at Kapa'a Elementary, graduated from Kapa'a High School. As a kid, kind of tying this into what I'm doing now, is I was really interested in reading books about detectives, more specifically a book called Encyclopedia Brown. It was basically a child detective who would investigate crimes in the school setting and then, solve all these crimes. And that was one of my favorite books growing up, along with Dr. Seuss. After school, I graduated from UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. From there, I moved to California, did some surf lessons for a little bit, worked in a restaurant, and then I moved back home where I started working construction. Construction was getting a little slow, applied for the police department, got in, and 13 years later, I'm here.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. When I was a kid, I read some of those Encyclopedia Brown books as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I was like, every time I talk about it, they're like, Encyclopedia who?
Yeah, no, I remember those books.
Kinda...
I wasn't like a voracious reader of them, but I read a couple.
Yeah. I was really into those back in the day.
So was there, I can commiserate with you on the construction thing too. It's a good way to make a living for a little while, and then you're like, oh man, I wish I did something else.
Yeah, I grew up with construction. My dad was into construction. My stepfather was an architect, so I kind of fell into that.
The smart side of construction, architect.
The smart side of construction, yeah. So I got to see both sides from both my fathers growing up.
Cool. So was there a particular moment that made you realize that you wanted to work in law enforcement?
Like I said, it started when I was younger, back in school. I was always interested, and then I went to college for criminal justice, but I didn't want to go in right away. It wasn't until my son was born and I realized that, I needed to make a little bit more money to make a living here on Kauai. So that's what kind of motivated me to take the test, something, more consistent that I thought I would be good at.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not cheap to be by yourself here, but to raise a family,
It takes a village, and luckily I have a lot of family here, and my wife has a lot of family here, so that helps.
That's good, yeah. That's good. You take the test, you go to police academy. How did your journey in law enforcement bring you to this the specific role of being a school resource officer?
Okay, so prior to becoming a school resource officer, I was working patrol, night shift. So it was the previous school resource officer that came up to me and brought it to my attention. He's like, "Hey, Johnny, I think you would be good as a school resource officer. My time is up as a school resource officer, and I was thinking that you could maybe take my place." And I didn't really put too much thought into it prior to him telling me about it. And, so it wasn't until he brought it to my attention to where I was like, okay, maybe I'll look into this. Yeah. And so I tried out, got the position, and yeah, here I am about 4 years later.
All right. And so how long is so there's a time limit on the billet. How long is that time limit?
You have 7 years, 7-year rotation as a school resource officer.
So you get 2 full classes that you get to be with from freshman through
Exactly.
senior year.
You get to watch them grow, which is one of the biggest rewards as a school resource officer, is to see that growth of the students and be with them from, 7th grade, their class, to them graduating. Unfortunately, yeah.
That's wonderful, yeah. And I can imagine it's good for the students too, because they get that consistency of having this same police officer that they've kind of built a rapport with, and they know. It's a familiar figure to them.
Yes, and in any kind of growth process for, young adults or even kids, it's consistency is key. Being there, being consistent, being present is huge in the development of the youth.
Yeah, and actually, I know some studies have shown, or actually a lot of studies have shown, that consistency in your experiences in your development can be a very accurate predictor of success or positive outcomes in your adult life. So that's great that you get long enough to give that consistency. Any unexpected twists along the way, like any, looking back, you're like, how the heck did I get here? Like, how the heck did that happen?
Actually, I have one unexpected twist. Is I am currently a unified partner with the Special Olympics on the bowling team. So I support the Special Olympics. I joined as a unified partner, and yeah, I've never thought of it prior, working with these athletes, but it was this position that brought me to where I am. And next thing you know, me and my partner are actually representing Hawaii in the national games this summer in Minnesota. So it's huge, and that was something that I never thought in my life. Personally, I don't have a family member that is special needs, but just being around them, participating in our badges and buckets event, and just speaking with the athletes, just kind of inspired me to participate more, and I enjoy being with them.
Tell me about that. Tell me about badges and buckets. What is that?
Badges and Buckets is a yearly event that the police department all over the world actually participate in support of Special Olympics. So we go on the top of Walmart, and we help basically get the word out there, and we're fundraising for these athletes so that they can participate in sports year-round. It helps them, with the funding for all their different activities that they participate in, so that they don't have to pay any money out of their pockets, which is huge, and I didn't know about this prior to joining the team, that this was a thing, and this is very important, because these athletes are part of our community as well. So
Totally. And being special needs can be very expensive, and doesn't necessarily come with the extra income to cover it. So it's really cool that there's a program like that.
It's a passion that I now have that I didn't have before. Is being involved with these athletes, and I go bowling every Monday right now, practicing to prepare for this event that we have coming up June. So my bowling experience was, I played a lot of sports growing up, but bowling was never one of my sports. So it started off as a favor. They wanted me to help out. One of the athletes needed a partner to represent in the state games. So they're like, after badges and buckets, they're like, "Hey, Johnny, you want to help us out? We need a male partner for this athlete. You guys are going to play in a tournament in Oahu." So we did that, and I did exceptionally well, like beginner's luck or whatever. I was getting turkeys left and right. And yeah, next thing you know, they're like, "Hey, Johnny, you guys did well in that tournament. You have been selected to participate in the national games in Minnesota in June." So they asked me if I was willing to, with my partner, represent Hawaii in that game. I was like, okay, well, I better start taking this bowling thing seriously. And so we've been practicing steady. They even give us these Fitbits that track our steps and, our water intake, sleep. Yeah, I have terrible sleep habits. But
you and me
these things are cool. Yeah, so this is part of the gig, and we have meetings with the other athletes around the islands. But it's super cool thing, man. I love my partner, Kaimana. He's just they're amazing human beings. They're just so non-judgmental, easy to talk to, and it just makes me happy to be around them.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah. So by this point, you're probably a pretty good bowler, huh?
I can't say that. I'll do my best to represent, but I'm getting there.
Well, good luck. Good luck. After you come back, I want to hear how it goes, how it went.
Thank you.
How Hawaii's team did. All right. So, what's your favorite part about being in a school environment every day?
So my favorite part, there's multiple parts, but for me, I graduated from Kapa'a High School, and that's where I'm a school resource officer. So to see, the teachers and the kids, and just being around them and watching them, like we talked about before, grow from, when I first met them to now how much they've grown over the years. And the funny part is I know a lot of these kids' parents because, I'm at that age where these kids, I actually have a kid that's in high school. He's 15 years old. He goes to Kamehameha school, but these are all his friends and his friends' age. So like it's cool seeing knowing their parents and seeing their kids come through the school too, and be like, "Yeah, I know your father," that kind of stuff, or "I know your mom." So it really helps with creating that bond with the kids, because once they know that, oh, you grew up with my dad, that's small island kind of syndrome type of thing, but it's huge, and I love that, that I can come full circle from actually experiencing the school and then coming back and experience the next generation and see how they're handling it and the different challenges that they have to go through.
Totally. And it probably helps to be more effective in your role too, because it's like you're a police officer, but you're also your uncle status. Like,
Uncle
my dad, my mom, you went to school
totally
here.
Uncle status. Yeah.
That's cool.
No, it is. It really is cool. And it really just helps with the whole building the trust, because they knew me, the parents knew me from when I was, a kid, and we have experience, and just I can always tell the kids, I was in this school too, just like you.
All right. So outside of work, what are your hobbies? Oh, we know you bowl now.
I'm a bowler.
What else do you like to do when you're not keeping people safe?
I love to surf. It's one of my favorite things that I've done as a little kid, and now I'm at the age where my 12-year-old daughter is into surfing too. So I take her surfing all the time, and that's probably one of my favorite things to do is surf with my daughter. It's just, a special thing that we have together, that we share, and it's my favorite thing to do. So to see her wanting to surf and waking me up and say, "Hey, Dad, we're going to surf in the morning." We go to Pakala's. That's her favorite spot to surf. And it just brings me so much joy. It's like the best thing ever to have my daughter, enjoy what I love to do, and it's a thing that we can do for free here. And it was just one of my goals as a parent. It was to teach my kids to do something that I love to do. And luckily, my 2 older boys didn't get into it, but my daughter, who's the youngest, is a surfer. So that's one thing, my favorite thing to do right now. I also do mountain biking, bowling. I do roller hockey, adults league. What else do I do? So yeah, a lot of mountain biking. I have what is called like a mountain bike with electronic assist.
Oh, yeah.
So it gives you, you still have to pedal, but it gives you just a little bit juice when you're
Yeah,
struggling.
when you get the real steep, muddy, rocky.
Yeah, so you can just go farther, and it's so much more fun, to be able to go and farther and just faster than you've ever gone before. Like I'll do a 26-mile bike ride, like no problem, from my house in the Homesteads, loop all back roads down to up to Spalding, down to Kelia bike path, all the way to Wailoa, and then back up Kuamo'o, 26 miles.
Wow. Yeah, that's a marathon.
Yeah, but I'll do it on my bike with this bike. Not no problem, but I wouldn't have done it with a regular bike.
It's more possible than it would be with a fully
possible,
mechanical
yeah,
bike.
so-
Yeah, that's really cool. I got to look into that.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and you still get the exercise, because you can set it to where like, okay, I need a little bit of help. There's there's levels.
Yeah, you give it like a help percentage.
When I'm going up Kuamo'o Road, I'm putting that thing on turbo and
Yeah, for
going
sure.
up there.
Yeah, I got to look into those because you know what? I used to ride. I have a bike, just a regular mechanical bike, and I used to ride it a lot. And then I got real fat, and so now it's like a catch-22 where it's like, okay, well, I want to lose weight, so I got to ride my bike more. But I'm really fat, so it's hard to ride my bike. I get tired after like half a mile.
This will help with motivation, get
yeah,
you,
yeah.
that confidence, and it's just they're a little pricey, but well worth it. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, working in the very lucrative industry of public access television, I have plenty of money, so I could probably put it on layaway or something.
Yeah, but health is priceless.
Yeah, I agree. And my doctor just said something similar to me very recently. So, but that's so cool that you talk about. I can imagine how wonderful it is to surf with your daughter like that. When I was 14, my dad taught me how to surf at Rock Quarry. That was like our favorite break, and it was like a really special bonding experience with me and my dad. Like because it's just you, your kid, the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. It's that environment. It's our church.
Yeah, and in this day and age where you can't bring your phone out there, so it's not even possible to be distracted by the phone. You're just there in nature, like in the water. Yeah, I love that. All right, so switch gears a little bit, come back to work. Tell me a little bit about your job, your specific responsibilities, so obviously you're a police officer, so you enforce the law, you keep people safe, but I imagine specifically being assigned working in a school, there's a lot of like mentorship and role modeling that's involved.
Correct, yeah. So our goal in the school setting is, number one, to make sure that they're safe. We're there for their safety, make sure that we can provide a safe learning environment for them. Unfortunately, in this day and age, with all those active threat incidents, it's only it's not if, but when. So being prepared and making sure that our kids are safe is, our number one goal in the schools. But we do other things. Although I am a police officer and we do arrests, we're more focused on education and mentorship. Like you said, it's a lot. You send more of a message when you actually build that relationship and trust with the kids and their parents, versus just making an arrest, right? So we use a lot of discretion in the schools. Anybody can just make an arrest and just call it goods, but that's not why we're there. We're there to, educate and change behavior, right? We want to affect change in these kids so that they can, grow up to be awesome human beings. That's our goal, is because everybody makes mistakes. I still make mistakes to this very day. And we understand that, especially with the kids. We want, not to just arrest them. We want them to learn, and we want them to respect and understand where we're coming from police, to let them know that, we're on their side, right? We're part of the team to make sure that they become better human beings, or, the best human beings that they can be. And having that role in the school, it really does affect change. I get told by the teachers and the principals that, they're glad that we are here in the schools to protect them and to talk and build relationships with the students.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And yeah, it's I feel like that's a great mindset for an SRO to have. Like, let's try to help kids not get arrested instead of just trying to arrest kids, and that's great. And it sounds like a really rewarding role you could have as a police officer, where you're focusing on the good part of policing.
Probably one of the best decisions, that I've made is getting into this unit and being part of these kids' lives. And it shows, because I can go, someplace, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal in the schools. And if I go someplace, they're like, "Hey, Officer Anderson," it's very rewarding to be that guy that these kids can look up to, and be positive role model, because unfortunately some of these kids don't have that in their homes. Some of them come from broken families, and it's hard. It's hard for kids to have to live and be positive every day when their home situation is not so good. Yeah. So we come in very aware of that, and we just try to be, or I try to be, that mentor that child doesn't have.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, and it helps. I feel like it's good to sort of humanize the police too, and not like, oh, the police are the guys that are going to write you a ticket if you do something wrong, or that are going to arrest you if you do something wrong. No, the police are guys that are here to protect you and help you, and they're people like us.
The key to that is, I'll play with the kids, whether it's basketball or we'll talk story, during school. We make jokes just to let them know that, that we're human beings, and, we've been through it too, so like building that rapport and the relationship with the kids. I don't give them a chance though. When basketball and we're playing one-on-one,
oh yeah,
no mercy.
You gotta, yeah.
No
you
breaks.
Can't look weak.
No breaks when it comes to that.
So you're a bit of a b-baller too, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So obviously you had police academy, right? But what kind of training specifically prepared you for working in schools? And when you shifted focus from being a patrol cop to an SRO, what things, if anything, surprised you when you first started this sort of different flavor of policing?
So when you become a school resource officer, you do a training. It's the National Association of School Resource Officers. It's a 1 week long course where they basically tell you, how to become a school resource officer and the difference between a school resource officer and a police officer. As far as what we're trying to do, what is our goals in this setting. So when I became a school resource officer, it's actually during COVID. So I had to do an online from home training online for a week. Yeah, and I think I had to wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh boy.
Because of the time differences.
So it was live online.
So
it
was live online, yeah. So it's not my favorite type of learning. I like to be in person.
I don't think it's anybody's favorite.
Some people like doing the online learning, but me, I like to be in a class and speaking to people. That's the best way I learn. I'm more of a hands-on type of learner.
Definitely. So what surprised you when you first sort of shifted gears from being a patrol officer to being an SRO, which is, I guess, seems like a much more specialized type of policing.
It is. So I didn't realize prior to becoming a SRO that the difference you can make and how important this role is for the community, especially in the proactive aspect of preventing future crimes and building the relationship, not with the students, the parents, the staff at the school, but different entities throughout our community, like Special Olympics. We do active shooter training for various businesses. We did one recently for KIUC, but just being out there in the community and showing, who we are and what we do is not only rewarding, but very important. It's one of those, when you're working as a patrol officer, you don't realize that, school resource officers are doing all this stuff to make us look good, to build that trust with the community, because without trust in the community, makes it very difficult for us to do our job on patrol as well, right? Yeah. So we need to build that trust, and it starts at that young age with the students, as they grow up.
Totally, I understand. Yeah, it makes it better for everyone if the populace doesn't see the police as the enemy or as somebody to be afraid of, And yeah, that definitely starts when you're younger, Yeah, if you have experience with friendly cops, helpful cops, then you see cops as friendly and helpful. But if your only experience is a cop comes behind you while your dad's driving and he starts cursing and worrying, then you're like, oh, cops are who I should be afraid of, So I see exactly what you're saying. So walk us through a typical day in the life of an SRO. What does an ordinary day look like for you?
So I get there before school starts. What I like to do is I like to do a little bit of traffic enforcement around the schools, just to make sure that everybody's driving safely. If I do a traffic stop, a lot of times, especially if it's a student, I'll give them a warning, let them know, what law they're violating, and give them a warning. But just the presence, as the kids are getting dropped off or driving to and school from the outside, is what I like to do initially in the beginning. And then once I get to school, I'll go check in with the administration, talk story with them, see what kind of issues that we have going on, whether it's bullying or vaping, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Check in with them, see if we got anything going on, and then if possible, one of my favorite things to do is teach the students. I have a class where we teach them active threat situations and how to respond, if they happen to be in one of those situations, not only in the schools, but outside of school as well. It's important, life-saving kind of education that I have a passion for, and I think it's very important that, our kids and everybody to know, how to react in those type of situations. So I recently taught a class that just the other day, just one period, and then we'll do active shooter drills and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but that's one other thing that I do in the schools is I teach those type of classes.
That's great. Yeah. Drills save lives, so I think that's wonderful that you're doing that.
And stuff, and just walking around, high fives go a long way. I just see the kids, and the presence there helps. Them seeing a police officer and just being available to the students is, one of our major roles as a school resource officer, is being present.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. That sounds really busy, too. It sounds like you almost have two different jobs that you're doing at the same time, because you're a police officer, but you're also like a school faculty member almost.
That's it for part 1 of my interview with Officer Anderson. Tune in next time for part 2. Until then, stay safe out there. Aloha.